Hi, and welcome back to jensmeramecvalleyhome. And today we're going to be doing some canning of the tomato. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So what we're going to do is, I've already taken some of these tomatoes. I've got a bunch of them here. And I didn't raise these. For some reason, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I'm going to figure it out because I can grow cherry tomatoes all day long. No problem. But when it comes to the larger tomatoes, I have a big problem with those. So I'm going to be doing my research for next year's planting. And hopefully I will have some big ripe tomatoes like these on my own. But these are just going to be used for slicing right now, but they're just gorgeous tomatoes. And I got them at a good deal. I went back to Soulard Market. I got a whole box of these tomatoes for $8. So I thought, I can't pass that up. I have got to buy these and I have got to can them. So here we are. I have my jars over here. They are washed and they are presently just sitting there drying, but I'm going to be putting them in this pot of water. This is a pressure canner, in case you didn't know. It is a weighted gauge canner, and we're going to be canning tomatoes in here today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and get my jars, and I'm going to put them down in the water so it kind of keeps them hot and ready, so when I get my tomatoes, which they're just warming up. I went ahead actually and did the prep work on the tomatoes because there was a lot of prep work to do. So with peels, getting them peeled and chopped up and diced and mashed and heated up. So what I did is I cooked those yesterday in a crock pot all day long until they were breaking down pretty good. And these I don't really want to mash up too much. I want to just keep them a little bit chunkier. But they are over here in this other pot right here. And I'm going to bring y'all over here to see it. So I've got my pot right there. And here is my pot of water. Y'all can see that. Okay, so we have all that going. And so let me go over here and get these jars and make sure that we get them down in there. I'm just going to fill them with water and let them kind of go to the bottom. I truly enjoy canning. I think everyone should learn how to do it because you never know when you're going to need some sustainable food for your shelves. And I'm going to try to fit these all in here. Oh, I'll make it. I got room for one more here. Actually, I could put one more in there, but we're just going to leave that as is. I need to get a pot out here. And let's see what my husband do with my pot. Here it is. Now, we're going to do a little bit of getting some water here. So, and the only thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to put my rings in there and my seals. Just enough to cover them. And put them on the stove and start heating those up. So let me fix this here. So right now I have my jars in my water heating up, and I have my tomatoes back here that are just heating up. And now I've got my lids and my rings over here, and those are heating up. And so once we get the water a little bit hotter, I'm going to take the jars out and I'm going to be filling them up with the tomatoes. We're going to add some lemon juice to the bottom for the acidity. Adds that little extra punch. You don't absolutely have to have it, but it does add that little bit of punch to the tomato. It makes it taste great. Also, my other handy dandy tool I use for lifting my jars in and out of the water. So we're going to do all this here in just a few minutes. We're going to bring this up to a boil, somewhat, not quite, but just to where I can kind of see it down at the bottom, where you get the little bubbles coming up. And then I'm going to take the jars out, and then we're going to see how it goes filling the jars up with the tomatoes and the lemon juice. They say put some salt at the bottom, like a teaspoon of salt, and I never really do that. I just wait till after I'm finished with the product, and when I go to use it, if it needs salt, I add salt. If it doesn't, I don't. So we'll be back here. Stay right with us, and we're going to do some canning here in just a minute. All right, so we are back and we are ready to start the process of canning. I also wanted to let you know, I did put a little bit of vinegar into my water. It just keeps the jars from getting like a haze on them, from the water. So make sure you put some in there. And one time I forgot, and there was a haze on it, so I had to wash the jars really good to get it off. But make sure you do that so that your jars don't get that haze on it. So we're ready to take and pull our tomatoes over. So I'm going to do that. And then we're going to lift our jars out of there. And I've got a nice towel here that we're going to put our jars on and fill them up. And let me see here. Here's my wide mouth funnel. We need one of those. You need one of these. These are essential. Okay, got our lemon juice. I think we're all set. Just pull these over. I'm gonna turn that off. This is really full of tomatoes. Tomatoey goodness is what I say. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the lid off. And set it over here for now. I'm going to pull this down. I'm going to let you see. Hopefully, if I can get it to go down there. That is some gorgeous tomatoes. And I did those, excuse me, I'm sorry, just kind of bouncing this around. I did those and added some oregano and some Italian seasoning, and also actually a fresh handful of basil from my garden. I have purple basil and I have regular sweet Italian basil. So I just clipped a bunch of it and put it in there. It smells wonderful. It smells like, you know, the Italian kitchen. So let's just do this. So we're ready to start getting our jars out. I like to get them all out and then fill them up. Like I just need to push it down just a little bit more so you all can see what I'm doing. Here we go. Get a tighter grip on that one. I had a couple, well, actually one smallmouth jar, one wide mouth jar. Just be careful when you're pulling these out that you don't get the hot water on you. Do it over your pot. I actually forgot I had these jars. I bought them last year at the end of the season because I knew I'd be using them this year. And I just kind of forgot about them. They were sitting in my corner of my cabinet over there. So now we're going to, there we go. That's a better view. So I'm going to be putting our wide mouth funnel in. Got lots of good tomato goodness here going on. Here we go. See what I mean? I forgot my lemon juice. We're going to put 2 tablespoons to each of these jars. So 1, 2. Now, if you were using pint jars, you'd just do 1 tablespoon. think I shortchanged that one a little bit there. There we go. All right, so now we can proceed with filling our jars. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh heavens, the smell is just delightful. Okay, we're going to move along to the next one. You know, I canned some tomatoes last week, and I already had some going. I think I got about 7 pints out of it. And this will be the last batches I do. Now you really want to just fill it to that first thread of your jar, right along there. You want to give it a little space at the top, a little bit of room to breathe. And you don't, if you do overfill it accidentally, just take a little bit back out of it. Let's keep going with our jars. Okay, that one's pretty full. Pull that one out a little bit. All right, so now that we've got our jars full, we're going to come over here and get our lids. I'm just going to replace this pot. All right, so picking back up here, we're going to keep putting our seals on with our rings. Just finger tight. There is a little gadget. I keep saying I'm going to buy it. It's a magnetic ring retriever. You just stick it in the water, and the magnetic part of it picks up the seals, and you don't have to feel the heat really bad on your fingers. And I am missing one of my seals here. Let's see. All right, so we're back and we're getting ready to put these jars into this boiling, almost boiling pot of water. So let's get to it. Just gonna put them down in there. Now you want to make sure that you've got at least 2 inches of water over the top of your lids. And I've got the feeling that by putting these big jars in there, that's not going to be a problem. You don't want to put your cans too close together, or your jars rather. One more. And it's going to go in the middle. All right. So now, and I do apologize that I keep adjusting this. But we want it just right. Okay, so I have got this up to speed. It is coming up to 10 pounds pressure. I don't think you can see that real good, but we're going to put 10 pounds of pressure onto this, and we're going to maintain this at 10 pounds of pressure for 45 minutes. So when it gets up to 10 pounds of pressure, then we're going to time it for the 45 minutes. So right now it's just coming up, and I put my weight on it, and we're just waiting for it to do its thing, and we'll be back in a few. Hey, so we're back, and this is done canning. And basically it is still a little warm, but we can open it because it's already depressurized back down to 0. And so we can take the lid off safely. So let's just lift it off of here. Always lift it away from you. All right, it all looks pretty good and intact. Oh wow, they're still boiling. They are so hot. So great. It's so good for you. You're going to be wanting these during the winter when you can't find a decent tasting tomato. That's another reason why I do this. And you can use it in so many dishes, not just pastas. So very good for you. Yeah, they're still boiling on the inside. I can see that one. It's just boiling away. Okay, so we got our last one coming out, and on the towel it goes. And let me check these. Looks like a couple of them have already popped except for one, which will probably do that at some point in time. I'm just going to put this lid on just like that so it kind of cools down. So we have our finished product. You can't beat really fresh, really fresh homegrown tomatoes in the summer. I absolutely just love tomatoes, fresh tomatoes. You don't get them during the winter, so I really relish these during the summer months. And all of the other good vegetables that are out there and that we can raise. So with that being said, we are done with canning, pressure canning our tomatoes. And now they just need to cool down for about 12 hours. Sometimes I let them set for about 24. Always check your altitude though for canning instructions, because altitude can make a difference from whatever area you're in. And it's very easy to find on the internet. So, we love you all. And if you like these videos, please subscribe. Just hit subscribe down below and like and share, because that's what helps me with YouTube. So, from my kitchen to yours, lots of love. And as always, don't let your heart be troubled. Have a good one.